I come from a family that is riddled with substance use disorder. My mother, my father, my aunt, my uncle, my brother, my sister, everybody in my family almost has dealt with it on a personal level, not just through the other members of the family, but have suffered with it themselves. My grandmother raised me. Both my parents were addicts. And all of the anger and frustration and upset that I had at all that stuff finally caught up to me around the same age I started using. I have all this underlying discomfort within self, all of this anger, all this frustration, all this discontentedness. And then my friends, they were the same friends I'd always had, they started using casually. I did it, and it changed the way I felt in a way that I really liked. And so it took me out of me. That's the best way I can put it, right? Almost immediately it went from no use to everyday use. If it's good on a Friday night and it's good on a Saturday night, man, I'll just do it on Sunday too. From the end of my junior year to the time I graduated high school, I went from never having used a drug to having smoking pot, drinking, used cocaine, smoked crack at my house, ecstasy, acid, it all of that happened within a one year period of time that I just fell all the way into it. I was about to go to law school. That was what I was trying to do. The unmanageability, all that caused me to leave school with 3 classes left to graduate. Ended up meeting someone, using with them, and the lifestyle of it ended up taking me to a point where when I was 27, I went to detox for the first time. When I left detox, I went to IOP, did the things they asked me to do, and did well there, but never followed up through it. And that was a typical pattern, is like I would go to treatment and I would genuinely have a real desire for recovery, but I would not take the follow-up steps after that. I wouldn't do meetings, I wouldn't do therapy, I wouldn't do all those things. And so I had very little success for several years. It was like I was a little bit like a rat going through a maze, deciding that this way wouldn't work and that way wouldn't work and this way. And it was sort of like I had to realize that the only way this was going to work was if I put everything into it. In September of 2014, I sort of put all the things together, said, all right, look, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I'll do what you say. And I think the only reason why I was willing to do that was because I got so beaten down by the previous attempts and so discouraged with everything that I had tried that I finally sort of had the humility to listen to other people. I went to treatment. I attended IOP afterwards. I went to meetings, got a sponsor, worked the steps, do all the things that you hear about in 12-step fellowships. I got a therapist that I've been seeing for for 8.5 years now. I've been seeing the same guy for 8.5 years. He's like a huge part of my story, and have been able to maintain recovery since then. I have ADHD as well, and sitting still and calming myself was not something that I've ever been able to do. And so I was really desperate to learn some skills like that. And I was in treatment. I had this Marine that was there. He introduced me to the idea of meditation. It's not about emptying my mind. It's about trying to focus on something, and when I would feel my focus going away, bringing it back to what I was focusing on. And that bringing it back part was the entire piece of it for me. Learning how to be still and be okay in myself is, for somebody who's felt uncomfortable their entire life, you can imagine how powerful that was. I like to talk a lot of times about gratitude and how important that is. And when I'm not living my life in gratitude, I've got this house that I own outright that always needs something fixed, and I'm not good at fixing stuff. And I got this wife who's mean to me, and I got a 12-year-old stepdaughter who doesn't respect me. That's what it sounds like when I'm not living my life in gratitude. And when I am living my life in gratitude, then I'm so blessed to own a house outright. And I have this wife who understands me and who takes care of me and who is really a great person and who is a very loving person. And I get to have a relationship with a 12-year-old stepdaughter who's just my daughter, but who accepts me and has never once told me that I'm not her real dad, and who loves me genuinely. And I know that. And I get to have a job where I get the opportunity to actually work with other people and try to help them. And I have sponsees who, yes, they call me a lot, but that's because they feel like I have something that can help them. And now I've just described my life, the exact same life. It's the exact same life, and I choose which way I look at those two. And I think that's one of the biggest things that recovery has given me, is the ability to shape the way I see the world, regardless of what's going on outside of me. It's all internal. Recovery is real and it is possible. And for me and for most of the people I know, it only came from asking for help and then accepting that. It's one thing to ask for help and it's another thing to accept it. And that, it's hard work. It is, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.